Welcome, fellow architects and engineers. Today, we are diving into the bedrock of ultra-scalable infrastructure, the monolithic kernel module. In high-availability systems, where every microsecond of latency can cascade into global performance degradation, operating at the user space level is often insufficient. By implementing a minimal monolithic kernel module, we bypass the overhead of standard syscalls and gain direct access to hardware. This session is designed for those who manage massive-scale distributed systems and require the granular control that only kernel space operations can provide. We will explore how to interface directly with device registers while maintaining the stability required for global service-level objectives. Understanding the bridge between hardware and the OS is no longer optional for infrastructure optimization. It is the prerequisite for next-generation system design. When we discuss monolithic kernels versus microkernels, the primary trade-off is between isolation and performance. For senior software architects, the monolithic approach is favored in high-throughput scenarios because it allows all kernel services to share a single address space. This architectural decision eliminates the heavy cost of inter-process communication, IPC, that plagues microkernel designs. In a global scaling context, reducing context switch overhead ensures that our infrastructure can handle higher request volumes per CPU cycle. We are focusing on a minimal module to ensure we don't bloat the kernel while still capturing the raw speed of the monolithic paradigm. By keeping the module footprint small, we mitigate the risk of kernel panics while maximizing the efficiency of device access for our critical services. A Linux kernel module follows a specific lifecycle managed by the kernel's loader. Every module we build for our infrastructure must implement two fundamental entry points, the initialization function and the cleanup function. We use the module.init and module.exit macros to register these hooks. When the module is loaded via insmod, the initialization routine sets up the device, allocates necessary resources, and registers character devices. Conversely, when the module is removed with rmod, the cleanup routine must meticulously release every allocated resource to prevent memory leaks in the kernel, which could lead to system-wide instability. For infrastructure engineers, ensuring that module license is set to GPL is vital for accessing certain exported kernel symbols necessary for high-performance device drivers. To communicate with our device, the kernel needs a way to identify it. This is achieved through major and minor numbers. The major number identifies the driver associated with the device, while the minor number is used by the driver to differentiate between specific hardware instances it controls. In our minimal implementation, we use register chur dev to reserve a range of these numbers. For architects designing for scale, understanding how dev nodes map to these numbers is crucial. We can either statically assign a major number or, more preferably for dynamic environments, allow the kernel to allocate one dynamically. This ensures that our infrastructure can scale across diverse hardware configurations without numbering conflicts, providing a consistent interface for user space applications to interact with our custom kernel logic. Kernel space is a different beast compared to user space. For senior engineers, selecting the right allocation strategy is paramount for system reliability. We primarily use kallocal for small, physically contiguous memory blocks, which is essential for DMA, direct memory access, common in device drivers. However, kallocal is limited in size and can fail if memory is fragmented. On the other hand, vmallocal provides larger, virtually contiguous memory by mapping non-contiguous physical pages. When building for ultra-scalable systems, we must carefully choose our flags, such as GFP kernel for normal allocations or GFP atomic if we are in an interrupt context where we cannot sleep. Mismanaging these flags is a frequent cause of deadlocks in high-availability environments. The interface between user space and our kernel module is defined by the file operation structure. In Linux, everything is a file, and this structure allows us to map standard file system calls like open, read, write, and release to our custom kernel functions. For infrastructure engineers, this is where the magic happens. By defining these function pointers, we determine how user space tools interact with our device. A well-designed file operation struct is the key to creating a clean, high-performance API for our hardware. We must ensure that our implementation of these functions is highly optimized, as they will be called frequently in a high-load environment. This abstraction layer is what allows our scalable applications to treat complex hardware device access as simple file I/O operations. One of the most critical security and stability aspects of kernel programming is data transfer. We cannot simply dereference user space pointers in the kernel because they may be invalid, swapped out, or malicious. Instead, we must use the specialized functions copy to user and copy from user. These functions perform the necessary checks to ensure the memory is accessible and handle page faults gracefully. For architects, these functions represent the secure airlock between untrusted user space and the privileged kernel. Implementing these correctly is non-negotiable for high-availability systems. A single faulty pointer dereference can result in a kernel oops, crashing the entire node and affecting global availability. We must always check the return values of these functions to ensure every byte was transferred correctly. In a multi-core, global-scale environment, concurrency is our biggest challenge. Multiple CPUs might attempt to access our device simultaneously, leading to race conditions and data corruption. To protect our shared resources, we use synchronization primitives. Mutexes are used when we need to sleep while waiting for a lock, making them ideal for long-running operations. However, in interrupt handlers or performance-critical paths where sleeping is forbidden, we use spin locks. For senior software architects, the choice between a mutex and a spin lock is a choice between throughput and latency. We must also be wary of deadlocks and priority inversion, which can paralyze an entire infrastructure cluster. Proper locking strategy in our minimal kernel module ensures that device access remains atomic and thread-safe under extreme load. How does a minimal kernel module help us scale globally? By moving critical path logic into the kernel, we reduce the cost per request at the hardware level. In massive data centers, saving even 5% of CPU overhead across 10,000 nodes translates to significant cost savings and increased headroom for traffic spikes. When we implement device access at this level, we are essentially building a custom hardware abstraction layer tailored specifically for our high availability patterns. This allows us to deploy consistent, high-performance drivers across our entire fleet, ensuring that our infrastructure behaves predictably regardless of the underlying hardware nuances. This level of optimization is what separates standard cloud applications from ultra-scalable, world-class infrastructure systems. Finally, we must discuss the reality of maintaining kernel code. Debugging is not as simple as using a standard debugger. We rely heavily on printk and dmessage to monitor module behavior. For senior engineers, understanding log levels and kernel ring buffers is essential for post-mortem analyses of failures in production. From a security perspective, our minimal module is a high-value target. We must implement strict bounds checking, use modern kernel security features like address space layout randomization, KASLR, and ensure that only authorized users can interact with our /dev nodes. By following these best practices, we ensure that our quest for performance doesn't compromise the security or stability of our global infrastructure. Master these concepts, and you master the machine.